Hello guys, Robot1 here, and today I have another discussion video for you guys, and this discussion video is basically, are engines good for the game? Now, what do I mean by engines? Well, I basically mean stuff like the Artifact engine, Brilliant engine, Zodiac engine, Invoked engine, all these different engines in the game that just change decks drastically and change how they play. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, I'm mainly talking about this because I've been looking at most decks over the past few years, and in every deck there is either a pure variant such as BA or a sort of engine slash other thing variant, such as maybe PK Fire, because that was BA fused with it, but I suppose that wasn't really an engine. Or actually no, Brilliant Monarchs, where you use the Brilliant engine in Monarchs. That's a good example. But while I'm thinking about this, I'm like, are engines actually good for the game? Because engines actually take away from the aspect of you need to play this card to be good at the game. It makes decks that were meant to be on their own some very different from what they should have been. Let's look at, say, Zodiac. Zodiac were meant to be a deck that just continuously piles on each other. They were meant to be a deck that can execute someone really easily and just keep going up and up and up and up. They weren't meant to be with anything else. Yet you are running in Zoo the Kaiju engine, the Artifact engine, or you can mix the Zodiac as an engine itself into stuff like Metal Foes. You can mix into Yosenjis, as I've seen on Robbie Cole's channel, and it's like, what is going on? Why are all these decks that were meant to be played differently now suddenly have an engine that actually changes the build slightly and changes how they should be playing? Now, a good example of what I just said was Zodiacs, how they were meant to just be a deck that can easily Xyz summon and easily just power through things. That's why they have Dryden, that's why they have Borbo, they can attack directly. That's why they have Broad Ball, so they can gain attack, so they can search for their other monsters. They are mainly a deck that should be playing on their own, but they are so much better with engines. Now, I see that my point isn't very valid with what I've said, seeing as Zodiac is probably the best deck anyway and should be as stated with engines, and the Kaiju variant has been proven to be the best, such as YCS Seattle like a week ago, where we had Pure Zoo and Kaiju Zoo face off in the finals, and Kaiju Zoo won. But my point is still valid. Think about it. Over the years, we have had so many decks that have played engines. We've had Monarchs with the Brilliant engine. We've had Pepe, which was a whole engine itself. Let's be honest here. That deck was Perform Mages, Draco Power engines, and Performer Powers itself as a whole sort of collaboration engine. And before that, there was Hat. Like before Talonites and Shadows, Hat was basically a big engine deck as well. And I believe that those decks are Imagination itself, but they are an engine sort of deck because they're not playing their own pure variants. And looking at it really does take away from the fact that they're pure. We've also had decks such as... what's another deck? BAPK, that was sort of two decks collaborating together. Like, there are just tons of different decks that have used engines, and I really do think that engines are kind of like, oh, we're here to play, but we more want to be in our own deck. Like Konami never thought that Brilliant Fusion would be used as an engine to be able to summon Seraphonite, and then be able to gain an additional summon. No, Konami never would have thought that. They never thought that would be a thing, but that was the case in Brilliant Monarchs. That was the case in All sorts of any deck that played the Brilliant Engine. Like my mind can't remember every deck that played the Brilliant Engine, obviously, but there were a lot. Hell, even Lights ones did it. A lot of different decks played the Brilliant Engine purely because it sped up their deck. Like Brilliant Fusion was a deck card that really did make an engine of itself. Another deck that was an engine, Artifacts. Artifacts are an engine that essentially they use to. Artifacts were an engine in Shadows. They were an engine in Monarchs at the time, maybe? I can't really remember if they were an engine in Monarchs. They were an engine in Cosmo. They were an engine in Fire King Cosmo as well. That was an engine. They had the Fire King engine. Like, all these different decks, they have so much potential on their own, but when you have an engine, it just boosts them to so much. And I think that Konami never really intended for engines to be the main standard. Like, let's look at what I'm playing now. I'm playing Yosenju. Oh wait, no, I'm not playing Yosenju. What am I talking about? I'm playing Metal Foe Zoo with a Magic Spectre engine as well. Now I'm playing an engine of the Zodiac and a Magic Spectre engine, 3 Bambuka and a Kirin. I'm also playing 3 Rat, 1 Barrage and a Whiptail. Those are 2 different engines in my Metal Foes deck, and it's like you shouldn't be playing in this variant because it's an engine-based deck. The deck should have been played on its own as a whole. You should be playing multiple different fusions. You should be playing multiple, or 3 of each pendulum. You should be playing maximums of the fusions. Like, Konami probably never intended for that deck to be fused with other decks. They mainly, because of, look at how the low rarity of it as well. That just shows how they weren't intending for it to be they're big spenders. If I remember correctly, the big spenders in TDIL were the Dark Magicians. They were meant to boost the Dark Magicians in that set because they wanted Dark Magicians to be a very good deck, seeing as the movie was coming out and stuff as well. And that never happened. That did not happen. It's like you gave us this very good deck that was a very low rarity, thinking that Dark Magicians were going to be better. And all these engines that were flying around as well, such as the Magic Spectre engine at the time, that it really does show what Yu-Gi-Oh can do with just a small engine. And I think coming up into the Link format that we'll be in soon, that format's going to be so big on engines. Like, personally, I'm going to be making an engine deck as well. My ideas so far have been to put like Dark Pepe with like other stuff to just be able to spam out the board. Like, there's been so many engines over the years, and it's just really, really taken away the purity of decks. Like, Kaijus, they're an engine in quite a few decks now. They're an engine in Yosenjus, they're an engine in Zoo, they're an engine in anything you can fit them in. They can put them as an engine in Spirals. You can put Kaijus anything. Now, Kaijus weren't meant to be an engine. They were not. Kaijus were originally meant to be, you summon a big monster on your opponent's board and a big monster on your board. Battle it out, you 2 big monsters. Like, that was not meant to be an engine. That was meant to be a deck. Another example was Artifacts. Artifacts weren't meant to be an engine. You were meant to set them and use them during your opponent's turn, so you could be able to stun them or summon tons of monsters during your opponent's turn. They were never meant to be an engine, yet they are an engine. Like, Konami never intended these things to be engines, decks. They intended them all to be pure decks. Yet we are seeing a huge influx of engines again in the game. Like, Zodiac is not a deck on its own currently, unless you're playing a pure Zodiac deck. Like, if the zoos that I've seen currently, I've seen Metal Foe Zoo, as an engine, Infernoid Zoo as an engine, Kaiju Zoo, which is kind of like both 2 engines mixed together. I've seen Artifact Zoo. Yeah, the Artifact is the zoo part. Like, Zodiac is a giant engine right now, purely because of how good it is. And it's just like, how can you actually make something so good, Konami, to become an engine / a deck on its own? Like, that's not good for the game. Like, I can admit that engines, they have been good over the years. They have helped out lower tier decks that have been and boosted their support. They've boosted it to a degree where they can actually play still. An example of this would probably be Heroes. with basically the kind of like water engine where you play the tin goldfishes to make Bahamut Shark and Treat Toad. That's kind of like a mini sort of engine which is your water engine, which allows you to make your unbreakable boards. I understand that's not really a big engine, but if my point stands, it's kind of a mini engine. Another sort of deck that has been boosted by an engine is probably Cosmo over the past few years. Like Fire King Island was meant to be support for Fire Kings. It was never intended to be an engine in Cosmo. Cosmo were never meant to have that card as a part of their deck. They only have it because it was a brilliant engine for them. Just being able to destroy a Cosmo big ship in hand and then summon one from deck is as good as E-Telly but better. And being that said, it's really stupid how Konami really doesn't realize that these engines work in other decks. And I'm not saying engines are a bad thing at all. Like, I'm just saying, are they good for the game? Because engines are they're so overpowering, and they just really change the decks, how they play. Like, the most recent engine, other than Zodiac, that has been released, is probably the Symphonic engine, which is guitar and mic, which allow you to discard a card and special summon mic, and then mic gives you a double summon, so essentially a new brilliant engine. And it's just, why are you making these engines now when you shouldn't be trying to do this? You should be probably focusing on making the game balanced, making it fair, not making engines for other decks to be able to play. But yeah, guys, this is my opinion purely. It's like, are engines good for the game? Are they balanced? Are they great? Should engines exist? Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Tell me if you really think engines are like fair in the game. Tell me if you think decks should be played pure. Tell me if you think any deck should be like normal, just like a pure variant, no other sort of things in there such as Zoo, Symphonic Warriors. Tell me what you think all in the comment section below. Just tell me what you think. Like, honestly, this is a topic that I think that could go really far, purely because it's an idea. Like, sure, engines weren't originally meant to be engines, but us, the players, have turned them into an engine ourselves. But are engines good for the games? Good for the game? Me personally, I don't know. Like, I think maybe, but I don't think at the same time yes, because as you see, I'm not messing with my hair. My hair keeps on annoying me. But yeah, guys, it's like, I don't know if engines are good for the game. Like, personally, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm leaning more to the side that they're not. Because they really change the game and take away purity from decks that you really should be playing more of. Like, this game was never intended to be what it is now. It was meant to be fun. Now, obviously, a cluster deck is something different. It's a deck that doesn't have an engine. That was the beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh! But this game has evolved into a state where you have to be playing a specific engine just to win. Like, I don't like that about the game, but anyway, guys, tell me what you think of this in the comment section below. Tell me if you think engines are good for the game. Tell me if you think they are balanced. Tell me if you think they help out the game. Tell me if you hate them. Tell me if you don't think they're good for the game. Just tell me all of that in the comment section below. And as always, guys, please like, comment, subscribe. Press the notification button and to be notified of my future videos. And I'll see you guys next time. Do you think engines are good for the game? Tell me in the comment section below. Robot1, signing out. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos, and check out the links in the description for the previous video, and the link to my Facebook page where you can see previous videos that I've posted there, and any other information that I may have posted there. I hope to see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.